All right, people. It's been too long. Um, Checking in to fill you in on what is happening this week. You are finishing your readings for tomorrow, and then there's a quiz on Wednesday. So that's the focus right now in Essay 3. But I need to talk to you about Essay 3. I'm getting some questions from students who seem to think that you must write a restaurant review. Take a look at what I wrote again. I wrote that I'm playing with a rubber band. A restaurant review is an option for you. It's kind of the default for Essay 3, and if you didn't want to do a restaurant review, which remember, it's in the now, you could do a meal review, a dinner review of a meal at home. You wouldn't go backwards in time. You wouldn't do a meal review of Thanksgiving dinner, for instance. You wouldn't do a meal review of, this great steak dinner we had back in October, right? The idea is you say, I'm going to do this, and then you plan for it, and during that meal you are observing, and by that I mean not just, with your eyeballs, very closely, very carefully, and probably taking a lot of notes. So, what else can you do? This is where I said you can do another sort of food writing. And I've coached a couple students through this. I've done some back and forth with those students, or some students got it right away, where they wanted to write about a particular meal. And they're like, but it's, I want to do a food review of a recipe, or I want to do a food review of this birthday celebration we had, or whatever the case would be. And it's not necessarily a food review, right? It's not a food critique, it's not a restaurant critique, but it's still food writing, and it's totally acceptable. This is where I said, you can contact me about doing food writing of another sort. Take, for instance, grandma's lemon bars. I don't know, I totally pulled that out of the air. My grandma doesn't make lemon bars, nor does my mother. But if that's, say, a recipe in your family that has some significance, and say you learn to make those with grandma, and they're at every event, that grandma attends, you could write about that food, assuming the food is the central part, right? And that you are using those descriptors that get at the taste of the food, the appearance of the food, right, the texture of the food, and the food is itself central. Perhaps there's other foods that come into play, but the point that you make might in fact be something else. It might have more to do with the tradition. I had a student once write this essay about menudo. And talked about how as unappealing as the cooking process is, as unappealing as the smell, the appearance of the animal head in the pot is, the final product is what it's all about. And then knowing that there's the tradition in the family of making this, and the coming together of the family, that was really what was appreciated by the student. But the student went quite into depth with detail and description about what is in the soup in terms of the whole cooking process, right, and what's there, and then the pungency of everything. But then also described what a bowl of this is like when it comes time to eat. So you see how you can play with this a variety of ways. So that's enough on Essay 3. There will be another task this week for Friday. I don't have it up yet, as has been typically the case. Excuse me. And I actually am debating about putting it up for Thursday. But it will be minor because of the due date of Essay 3 being Friday, May 1st. So I'm either going to have it be short and be due Thursday, or be small and extend the date to Saturday. But I'll get on that rather soon. Other than that, it's just been life here at the Greenberg home, and doing what I do, keeping busy, responding to you all. We have been busy, as you probably noticed. You received an email from us Friday. I believe you got one from us as your mentor. This morning, one came from us, but it was sent by Miss Hertzfeld. But that came from us. The faculty put that together, and then it comes from TEC as a school. And then you should have received an email directly from your mentor that included a great deal of information. So you all have some work to do, and those emails hopefully begin to answer some of the questions that many of you have, and frankly probably raise some questions for a number of you. But really, if you watch the videos that Mr. Boovy and I worked quite hard on, I believe that you will have a good sense of what you need to do. And then when you come to us with questions after that, I think they'll be much more focused, much more pointed, and productive, right? When we can then have an exchange as mentor with mentee, or if you need to come, some of you may come to me then as your instructor if you have a question about English specifically. Because another thing that I don't think Mr. Boovy and I talked about is you move through all of this into the scheduling process, which will follow after all of this is done. Teacher recommendations, right? That's another thing that we can get into. But that's pretty much it. So I wish you all well. I will try to check in again soon. And wow, we are on a downhill slide, but do not slack off. Tasks 9 and 10. Some of you here, some of you here. Right? Let's get everybody up here. I need to see thorough work. I want you to be doing the kinds of things that I've taught you to do. And if you have questions, you have ample resources at your fingertips. And some of you are coming to me with questions. Some of you are not. I'm available. I'm here. Like here. I got the laptop right in front of me. So ask a question. Don't be afraid to do it. That's all I've got. I'm going to sign off. And I'll just leave you with this. Catch you later.